Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the full card of fights for UFC Fight Night, Lopes versus Silva. So, without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the card. So in our first fight, we have in the welterweight division, Ultimate Fighter finales, we got Rodrigo Cezinado versus Daniil Donchenko. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Rodrigo Cezinado to beat Daniil Donchenko. Yeah, for me, basically with this one, Cezinado just seems like the much more well-rounded fighter. It seems like Donchenko just mainly shows me striking and nothing else. Haven't seen no particularly great offensive grappling, no particularly great defensive grappling, no particularly great submission offense or defenses. Like, I've really not seen much grappling from him at all. And Cezinado has shown a good confident striking game. It seems like he's been more tested, even in on Ultimate Fighter, even more in his pro career. Like, in every single aspect, Donchenko, Cezinado seems like he's just been more tested and just more rounded. Again, Donchenko should definitely be the better striker, and that's much as obvious, but what else more does he bring here? So I'm going Cezinado here, and I'm going to go like a second round submission for Cezinado here. Definitely not an easy fight, and definitely fight, it's up in the air, but I feel like Cezinado just shows more concrete stuff to draw from here for me. Again, more experience, more rounded, more tested. I think he's training in a better place, and I think it's all going to show in the fight. So in this one, I have Rodrigo Cezinado via second round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in the bantamweight division, we got Alex Pereira versus Montserrat Rendon. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Alex Pereira to beat Montserrat Rendon. So Rendon's nothing special about her. She's not a very good fighter at all. Pereira is just very young and very green. That's my biggest issue here. But she should be able to stop Rendon. Well, she should be able to beat. I'm not going to say it's a set in. She's going to knock her out or whatever. So yeah, it's an up in the air fight again. But I do like Pereira's upside a lot more here. I feel like she's a much better striker. My thing is just that she's very young and lacks experience. But I think she'll be able to come in here very hungry. But that's one good thing about being young. Like, these young fighters are extremely hungry, and they just got this aura of invincibility in their head. Because again, they're so young, and they never, been set back, so they just can't see nothing else but winning. And it's not like Rendon, some great IQ fighter, some great grappler. And honestly, like, win or lose this fight, Rendon's a mediocre fighter. Let's just be honest. He's a mediocre fighter. Pereira does have a lot of talent and can turn into an amazing fighter. So that's really it. Rendon just got experience. That's about it. Pereira should be able to address everything Rendon brings. Put the combination on, put the pressure on her. And I see her stopping Rendon in the second round via TKO. So in this one, I have Alex Pereira via second round TKO. Now to the next fight, we have in the flyweight division, we got Alessandro Costa versus Alden Correa. I'm going to say Correa. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going average confidence Alessandro Costa to beat Alden Correa. Yeah, this is just a real big step up for no reason. Like, just throw him in there. Obviously, it could have been bigger step ups, but this is still a pretty big step. Like, Costa's a pretty solid flyweight. It's not like he just an old guy. I just came in and had one fight, or like Costa's like a very solid flyweight fighter. Good grappling, good striking, and Correa has never fought no one even near the level of Costa. Maybe he's trained with some people at the level, but he has never fought no one at this level. I think Costa should be able to have advantage everywhere, and do what he needs to do. I think he should be able to chop his legs up with kicks, mixing the grappling well, break him down, and I'm gonna say a second round submission for Costa. So in this one, I got Alessandro Costa via second round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in the middleweight division, we got Zach Reese versus Cedricus Dumas. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Zach Reese to beat Cedricus Dumas. Yeah, Dumas is not really showing me no great improvement. I don't feel like he can out-wrestle Reese. So can he get it to grappling even there? Does he have an advantage in the grappling? Don't see that. Striking wise, Dumas has never really been some big power puncher either. So I feel like Reese packs more power. He's stronger. He's bigger. Better striker. In my opinion, probably better grappler. But we'll see. But I got to go Zach Reese here. Not a lot of confidence in either guy, but yeah, Zach Reese just seems like a better guy. And also, this seems like a matchup that Dumas has already lost before, to be honest. Matter of fact, he lost the worst version of Reese. I think that was his first loss in the UFC. I'm forgetting the guy name again. That's exactly what I'm saying. If I'm forgetting the guy name that beat you, that's a worse version of Reese. That says everything you need to know about Dumas in this matchup. That yeah, the guy that you lost to stops you and walked through you is not even a memorable guy or worth remembering, to be honest. But yeah, I think Zach Reese will be able to apply the pressure, crack some big shots, and I'm gonna say second round TKO for Reese here. So in this one, I have Reese via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the flyweight division. Flyweight division, we got Jesus Aguilar versus Luis Guru. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going low confidence Jesus Aguilar to beat Luis Guru. So Guru's a pretty solid fighter. But he's getting some tough matchups. I mean, his last fight was really supposed to be a fight that's supposed to be good. Was it supposed to be good for you? Was it really supposed to be good for you? It's a fight that, probably shaded for him when I think he was the favorite going into that fight against Osborne. But Osborne was a veteran. Like, it's not like Osborne was some scrub. Osborne was a veteran. And had some of the best guys in the weight class. And continues to fight some of the best guys in the weight class. And Guru to come from the contender series to jump to fight a guy that had, over 10 UFC fights. That was a big step up. Now he's getting another not favorite matchup. Aguilar, you kind of say maybe Guru could try to wrestle him because that's maybe a weaker part of Aguilar's game. But Guru hasn't really shown, he showed me like he has a good wrestling background, but he hasn't shown me that he's a guy that's going to be able to go out there and wrestle to a decision against a guy that's, experienced UFC caliber fighter yet. Like, he hasn't shown me that. Like I said, he might be able to show me this fight. But again, if I haven't really seen it, I can't. I think on the contender series, he got taken down 10 times. And I think he maybe got, he got one takedown against Osborne. That was it. And, I think he held him down for 2 minutes. So, again, he can show that he can do that for one round. And then, potentially, he got taken down 10 times and got 0 takedowns. So, he has to show me to be that guy that's going to get 2, 3 takedowns, 4, 5 takedowns, or more than one takedown. I think Aguilar has shown, again, striking against more high-level opponents. And I'm going to favor that experience. And who has Aguilar really lost to? He lost to, an undefeated fighter who's one of the best up-and-coming flyweights, or at least one of the best. I'm going to say just one of the best flyweights in the weight class. I'm going to say he's top 5, the guy he lost to. Leah Esteban, probably top 10 or something. And probably going to jump into top 7, top 6. So, elite flyweight. And he lost to, what's the name? A top 4 flyweight. So he only lost to elite ranked flyweight. So it's not like Aguilar's some bum. Aguilar's a solid fighter here. I favor his experience here. I think he'll be able to make Guru really had to work for these takedowns and really make Guru respect his power as well. So I think it'll be a good competitive fight. But I think Aguilar's going to be addressed to grappling, land the harder shots, land more shots, land harder shots, and be able to dictate the pace of the fight more and get his hand raised here. So in this one, I have Jesus Aguilar via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's strawweight division, we got Tatiana Suarez versus Amanda Lemos. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going average confidence, Tatiana Suarez to beat Amanda Lemos. So, yeah, 3 rounds. I think this favors Suarez a lot. Been in 3 rounds. You don't have to wrestle for 5 rounds. She can wrestle for 3 rounds. That's 2 less rounds you have to wrestle for. Good for a wrestler. Lemos has been wrestled up in a couple of fights before. And I think Suarez is still the best wrestler in this weight class. She might have got lost to Weili Zhang and got, level checked by Weili Zhang. But Lemos is no Weili Zhang, and Suarez should be able to take her down, control her, maybe even finish her. But I'll say decision. Suarez ain't no great finisher, and Lemos is not just a person easy to put away. So more so, close competitive decision. Lemos definitely looking to land some big shots on the feet, and Suarez going to respect that. Go through the fire a little bit to get the takedowns, and then try to grind her out, control her. But yeah, competitive fight. I'm going to say close, but competitive fight. But Suarez been able to get those takedowns, have large control time, probably get some good ground and pound, threaten some submissions, but never really able to get anything real close to a finish at any point in this fight. And grinds Lemos to a decision here. So in this one, I have Tatiana Suarez via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, we got Claudio Puelles versus, I don't know why I'm getting tongue-tied here. But yeah, Claudio Puelles versus Joaquim Silva. Yeah, Claudio Puelles versus Joaquim Silva. Not Joaquim. He's not Bucky. Joaquim Silva. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going low confidence. Claudio Puelles to beat Joaquim Silva. And here I am again on my video blowing my nose. I could pause it, but why do that? Y'all get all of this. But yeah, going low confidence Puelles to beat Silva. This definitely has shades of it could end up like the Hernandez versus Hooper fight. Spanish Portuguese Hooper versus Alexander Hernandez fight. whereas Puelles is the younger, longer grappler. And Joaquim Silva is the shorter, stockier, older grappler, but has a more striking base, or at least more power. And they even kind of look like Spanish and Brazilian versions of those guys. Like Puelles look like a Spanish version of Hooper, and Joaquim Silva look like a Brazilian Hernandez. So it easily ended up being that fight. But I go Puelles. Silva really hasn't knocked nobody out in a long time. And Puelles, he did in his last fight go to a split decision with Raziem, who's been looking amazing. So that's a good sign. So I think Puelles will be able to get some takedowns. I think he'll be able to shut down the submission of Silva. And on the feet, I think he'll be able to use his length and just be busy. Silva probably still win the striking battle a bit. But I think Puelles will win the grappling battle. I think he'll keep the striking battle close enough. And I think the takedown and control time will be the difference. But a very close competitive fight. But Puelles is doing just enough to get past Silva here. So in this one, I got Claudio Puelles via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the middleweight division, we got Jose Medina versus Dusko Todorovic. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Dusko Todorovic to beat Jose Medina. When it really probably should be higher, but that just show you where both guys are. Mainly Todorovic. Medina never really had no great talent. Todorovic at least at one point was a solid prospect, but those days are well behind him. But going against Medina, what does Medina really have? Medina don't have power. He just has durability and cardio. He don't have no grappling. He don't have no striking. He don't have no skills. He's just a good punching bag, and he can keep on fighting if you can't put him out there. Todorovic don't really have bad cardio. He don't really have a bad chin. Medina don't really have power. So Todorovic, like, it's just really his fight to lose. So I feel like Todorovic could win this fight on the feet or on the ground. I don't know which way he's going to do it. Let me see. Maybe submission. Todorovic does have some grappling, so I'm going to say submission. I think he'll mix him on the feet. Medina's going to probably be eating his shots. And he probably hit him with some more shots because Medina's not going to defend those either. But, like, I'm not going to risk gassing myself out punching this punching bag and probably look to fake a punch, fake a strike, take him down, and then just control him on the ground. Matter of fact, I'm not going to give Todorovic a good performance. I'm saying it's going to be like a lackluster performance. Both guys probably get cut after. Where Todorovic not going to be able to materialize no finish. Like, say, he's going to have some good shots on his feet. But it's all going to like a low-level fight because Todorovic's not going to be able to put him away. He'll take him down, not be able to get no finish on the feet, not be able to get no finish. But, again, Medina's going to be here to be hit, there to be taken down. Todorovic just not going to be able to put a stamp on him. And that's just going to be it. So, in this one, I got Dusko Todorovic via decision. Now, to our next fight, we have in the bantamweight division, we got Santiago Luna versus Quang Lee. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Quang Lee to beat Santiago Luna. So this probably should be like an average confidence. This is a big step up for Santiago Luna. Quang Lee is not that guy. Matter of fact, maybe this should be average. I'm definitely going to bet Quang Lee, but I'm not going to say average. I'm going to give low, but yeah. I say more so the issue with this one is that Luna, we don't really know how good he is. He seems like a pretty decent fighter for what I'm saying, just that level of competition is not there, and he's only 21. So a very young age to step into the UFC, especially when the level of competition is not really there. And then most of them are finishes. I think he had like one decision, but again, who is he fighting? He's really fighting, free wins. That's what he's fighting. That's lower than can. Like when you're coming up, they're literally trying to give you free wins if you're with the right team. But a lot of people get with dumb management teams and they be trying to match them against hard fights early, or maybe they themselves take these matches. But yeah, a lot of these guys when they build up, they're fighting free wins. It's not even a matter of can, like, you're fighting a guy that was this and that, but he was clearly shown not to be this. Now you're fighting guys that are, at this level, you're fighting guys that literally, hey, my young boy right here, he's a promising 6'9" glazing Brazilian god. Can you go out there and get washed by him? I'll give you an extra $1,000. Like, literally, that's what it is. Imagine these guys that clearly are much better, but they need a confidence boost and to build their resumes to be marketable and, get that experience. Get those layups in, and that's what it is. That's all the guys he's fought. He's been fighting tomato cans. Quang Lee's been fighting experienced guys, solid veteran, tested himself, coming off a good win. But yeah, Luna like a bright prospect, but this does like a, I don't know. I don't see the reason for this matchup, but it don't make no sense to me, is all I'm saying. But yeah, I go Quang Lee here. I favor his experience. But I do think Luna is a tough, scrappy fighter, I would assume. So I say he'll make it to a decision, but and probably come out to a a blazing start for a little bit. Whether he'll be successful with that blazing start or have much success with that blazing start, that's to be determined. But either way, I feel like he'll be able to come out hot a little bit. But I think Quang Lee, with his experience and his skill and the level of opposition and the wins that he has, and even some of the losses that he has, I think he'll be able to navigate that, slow the fight down a bit, drag Luna into deeper rounds, and just, win a clear decision here. Again, I can see a stop. Stop is definitely on the table, but I'll say decision. Again, Luna's a young, fiery fighter, so he'll probably keep it, battle to the end. But yeah, Quang Lee's experience will just be too much for him. And there's also Quang Lee's a pretty well-rounded fighter. He's shown his grappling last fight. He has heavy hands, strike is pretty strong. He's a full-grown man. He's not a 21-year-old Gerber baby. So yeah, I think he'll be able to extend him and beat him by decision. So in this one, I got Quang Lee via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, we got Alexander Hernandez versus Diego Ferreira. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Alexander Hernandez to beat Diego Ferreira. What's going on here? Oh yeah, like my name was bugging for a second. Bugging. But yeah. No harm, no foul. Yeah. But yeah, low confidence Hernandez to beat Ferreira. A tisket, a tasket, a pretty yellow basket. This definitely felt like a fight where Ferreira could come back and rally and beat Hernandez. But I feel Hernandez's experience now. So I feel like he's the better striker here. Yeah, I feel he's the better striker. I feel like he has good enough wrestling and defense to defend the takedowns of Ferreira. I think I'm pretty sure he's still the younger man. Yeah, Ferreira is now 40. Hernandez is right in his prime at 32. Come off the biggest win of it, well, probably the second biggest win of his career, because Darius is the biggest win of his career. And now Hooper is the second biggest win of his career. And probably feel himself. He's not at 45. I feel like 45, his cardio was even more of an issue for him. And 55 is still an issue for him. But it's something he can work with. So I feel like he'll be the bigger, stronger, more explosive fighter here. Younger fighter. Be the address to grappling Ferreira and just be the better striker early and throughout. And still have enough in the tank left to to sustain the rally of Ferreira to beat him by decision here. So, and again, I think that momentum is everything, and he's coming off very good momentum, and he's sitting right in his prime. And I don't think Hernandez is going to be so quick to give up a loss so soon. I still don't think Hernandez is going to go very far, but I think he can get past a 40-year-old Ferreira. So, in this one, I have Alexander Hernandez via decision. Now, to our next fight, we have in the middleweight division, we got Kelvin Gastelum versus Dustin Stoltzfus. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Dustin Stoltzfus to beat Kelvin Gastelum. And yeah, Gastelum has never really lost in my bad. You can kind of say Stoltzfus is bad, but I'll go Stoltzfus here. You can also say that Gastelum, since all these losses all these losses he's been having, he hasn't really in his few wins that he's picked up. How many wins has he picked up? I know he beat oh yeah, he went down to 170. He beat Daniel Rodriguez. But he came in at like 185 to fight Daniel Rodriguez at 170, so he cheated anyway. And that was a striking match. So he beat Daniel Rodriguez in a strike. Well, he wrestled Daniel Rodriguez. So that's another thing. So he beat him in primarily a striking matchup, but he definitely was the one wrestling in that fight as well. Coming in like 15 pounds overweight. And so he beat a striker in Rodriguez. He beat a striker in Chris Curtis. You could even argue he lost the Chris Curtis fight, but again, he mainly beat guys that just struck with him. And Stoltzfus has shown at least a decent grappling game, has shown a decent takedown game. I'm not going to say it's the most ideal grappling game as far as like a real heavy wrestling style and heavy wrestling style. It's not like he's a Bo Nickel or something, or Chimaev, or I don't know, somebody that really goes for a lot of takedowns and has a lot of success with them. He's has plenty of success with his takedowns, but he's not, again, not a super active takedown guy. But I do like him here a lot more. Stoltzfus, I'm not saying I like him. I'm not saying I like him a lot here. What I'm trying to say, but I do like him more here. Is what I'm saying, because this is a low confidence. This is not no average confidence. Stoltzfus, if Stoltzfus had an iron chin, yeah, I probably might shift this to average. Like iron chin in a more active takedown game with the grappling skills he already has, yeah, this probably be average confidence. But the fact that his chin is not iron, and Gastelum still shows to have something in the tank, a little bit in the tank, is enough. That's giving me concern. So, but I'm going to go Stoltzfus here because I still have not seen Gastelum beat a grappler in like what 10 years. Well, enough years. It's been like 5, 6, 7 years. He has not beat a grappler since. And yeah, I think Stoltzfus will be able to bring that grappler to him. But should I say submission here? No, it's probably gonna be an ugly decision. Ugly decision. It's gonna be a scrappy fight. Gastelum probably definitely gonna catch him at some point. Stoltzfus probably made her survive and get a hold of him, probably reverse position or get a takedown. But the main story for Stoltzfus to victory. Like I say, he gonna hold his own on the feet, probably crack Gastelum some good shots. Stoltzfus got some power of his own. He got some strike of his own. But yeah, be that Atlantic power, get Gastelum respect the power, and then set up his takedowns, get some control time, and ground out Gastelum. Probably gonna be like a split decision. I could see a finish for Stoltzfus, but I say it's gonna be a split decision type fight that goes to Stoltzfus based off, the grappling success. Like striking gonna be a little bit to Gastelum or more so on Gastelum's side, but Stoltzfus gonna have the full package, and then the grappling gonna be the sprinkle on top that's gonna get him the split decision here. So in this one, I got Dustin Stoltzfus via decision. Now, in our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, we got Jared Gordon versus Rafa Garcia. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Jared Gordon to beat Rafa Garcia. And maybe this could be average confidence because it's not like either guys had big power. Gordon's coming off one of his first knockouts in the UFC or one of his few knockouts in the UFC. And obviously he showed power in that fight. I said power. And obviously he showed power in that fight. But historically he's not a big puncher. Neither is Garcia. So I guess this is a simple fight. They're both kind of similar fighters. They're kind of pace fighters. Like they're well-rounded, not particularly great strikers, not particularly great grapplers, but they win off their pacing. Like if they can outpace you, they can beat you. Obviously, they can drown you as well, because that's part of being a pace fighter. But if a fighter, is not a fighter that's just going to get drowned, they're not going to really be out there going out there submitting them or knocking them out too much. And it kind of comes down to like Gordon's riding better momentum. I think Gordon's a little bit of a better wrestler, a little bit of a better striker, and he pushes a lot higher of a pace. So, in a fight that Gordon has typically lost to, he lost to elite competition and big punchers mostly. So it's not like he's just been losing to anybody. So, yeah, Garcia don't have the big punch, and he's not some super elite fighter either. So I think Gordon should be able to beat him everywhere and beat him to a decision here. So in this one, I got Jared Gordon via decision. Now to our co-main event. We have in the bantamweight division, we got Rob Font versus David Martinez. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Rob Font to beat David Martinez. So, yeah, David Martinez looks like an exceptional fighter, but this does seem like a step up way too soon for him. Like, you go from contender series to a fight that's set up for you to win in your first fight, pretty much, in the UFC. Now you jump to fighting a, top 10 guy, or at least still top 15, at one point probably like top 5 guy. And Rob Font has beat a lot of guys in these spots. Just like a Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson, even more so than Charles Johnson, because Charles Johnson still never really respected his elite flyweight, like elite, top 5. Like, at one point, for a long point, Rob Font was like a top 5 along with Marlon Vera and some of these other guys at bantamweight, like a long time top 5 elite guy. Charles Johnson can't say that yet, but one thing the comparison I'm drawing is that Rob Font recently has played a similar role to Charles Johnson, where he turns back a lot of these bright prospects who they kind of push a little too soon. But it's not a bad thing for the UFC because you get to see how they are, and the loss don't really affect them too much because they bounce right back afterwards. But see, like, are they there yet? No. And this is kind of one of those matches. Like, Dave Martin, like, yes, he looks good, he looks well-rounded, but pretty much every guy that Rob Font has been beating that's in a similar position, they have been looking well-rounded and dangerous everywhere. But, again, they have not fought to this level that Rob Font has been fighting at for a decade. And they're jumping up way too soon. Like, at least take 5 more fights. At least take, at least, fight number 30, number 15. Work your way up there. But, like, now you go from fighting number 50. Now you go from fighting number 200 to number 100 to now fighting number 10 or 15. Like, that's a big jump up. And Rob Font's experienced too much. It's not like Rob Font's a square. Rob Font can wrestle, he can grapple, he can strike, and his experience will come through. I think he'll be able to outbox Martinez, address the grappling, and maybe at points out-grapple him, and also at points push the pace where Martinez is unable to push the pace, like, because he hasn't really been in these spots. So he'll know what to do at these spots, know when to dig, know when to push, and know how to push and the right moves to make, whereas Martinez is going to be so green and inexperienced in these spots because this is a huge step up. So, yeah, I got Rob Font here, decision victory. Just like a veteran's lesson. So, in this one, I got Rob Font via decision. Now to our main event, we have in the featherweight division, we got Diego Lopes or Lopez versus John Silva. And how do I feel about this one right here? Well, originally this was going to be an average confidence John Silva, but now it just dropped to a low confidence John Silva, given the fact the fighters went 0-2 last card. And yeah, he's in a tough spot. So, well, it's not even just that the fact they went 0-2 last card. It seemed like when they get to this spot right here, or around this spot right here, it seemed like this is kind of where the fighting nerds are kind of having struggles. You know, when they get to the ranked fighters, or more so particularly when they get to the guys that are like creme de la creme, like whether it's a title eliminator or it's like a like a number 5 guy. Because Bahayo, he just lost a guy who probably should be the next title challenger. He lost. That's who Bahayo just lost to. What's his name? Prates lost to Gary, who I think probably like top 5, top 7. And John Silva versus Lopes is like probably like a title eliminator. So Lopez is like top 3, top 4, top 5. So it's kind of that simple spot. So it gives me concern. But I do feel like John Silva is the better fighter. Like he's a better striker. I feel like he's stronger, better grappler, better defense. 5 rounds is a lot of rounds, and Lopez has had, he's coming off very good experience. He just fought Volkanovski, who's probably the greatest featherweight of all time. I love Aldo, but kind of hard to say he's the GOAT of featherweight anymore. So I kind of got to give it to Volkanovski. And yeah, Topuria helped Volkanovski by letting him get the belt back. If that was not for Topuria relinquishing the belt, I probably would say Aldo's more good. But the fact that Volkanovski got that belt again, I had to give him the featherweight GOAT title. So you went 5 rounds with the featherweight GOAT. So you just freshly went 5 rounds and got good experience. And Lopez cardio and pacing was an issue for him in the past. And it kind of is. But the fact that he was able to go 5 rounds, I think that's going to give him confidence. It's going to show him what he needs to work on. And that was a great experience. Silva has never even fathomed going 5 rounds at this level. So that could be a big advantage for Lopes. If especially if Silva looks to come out here with a lot of steam off his confidence, or all these things are factoring against him. But I still like John Silva. I still feel like he's the better fighter here. And I still don't feel like Lopes has really shown any great overall improvement. Like he's shown, experience. That experience is a big thing. But as far as like his skills, like he's still a punching bag. His defense is not really there. He's a go for it, take a shot to give a shot type of guy. He got a big punch, but has never shown great defense or particularly great IQ. I feel like Silva has greater IQ, greater striking technique, but a fight is a fight in the day. And again, Lopez is live, but I'll go John Silva here. And has Lopez ever been? He has been TKO in the past. Yeah, I'm gonna say TKO. I'll go John Silva TKO. I'm gonna say 2nd round TKO for Lopez. I said Lopez. Well, I just jinxed it, so it's gonna come back. Your mind said that it's all into the future. Lopez 2nd round TKO, but what I was meant to say, John Silva 2nd round TKO. Yeah, I think he'll be able to take advantage of Lopes' lack of defense, be able to break him down and put him away in the 2nd round. So in this one, I got John Silva via 2nd round TKO. And so that concludes my fight predictions for the full card of fights for UFC Fight Night, Lopez versus Silva. And as always, thanks for watching. Peace.